Good morning, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
We welcome you to Mornings with Brian and Tyler. Today we're in Proverbs 23, verses 25 through 28. Tyler?
Let your father and your mother be glad, and let her who bore you rejoice. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways. For a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. She also lies in wait for a victim, and increases the unfaithful among men.
All right. So, why a narrow well, Tyler?
Because you can't get out because you've got nothing to climb out of.
That's kind of the point. The other part of it is, for a while there in America, we had this weird run where, in like a couple years' time, there were 4 kids have been trapped in a deep well, and rescuers are trying to figure out how to get them out. And the reason that a lot of the rescuers couldn't get down into the hole or the well or whatever was because, it was just big enough for little kids to, oh, now he's at the bottom. But guess what? They couldn't drop a rope for the kid to hold on to because there wasn't the space, because the moment they'd have pulled, he was wedged. And that's the thing with a narrow well. You can't get your arms out to get your arms up so that they could have pulled him straight up. There was nowhere for his arms to go. And like Tyler said, you can't climb out of that. There's nowhere to get a hold.
And then like you said, you're already wedged again because you can't move anywhere to climb anywhere.
That's it. And that's what this is described as: a narrow well, a deep pit, a robber, and it increases the number of the faithless. So he says, let your mother and I be glad. Let your mother, rejoice that she, gave birth to you. Pay attention to how I've lived, how I'm living, and copy what I'm doing. That's what he says to his son. Some people go, how can that apply to Solomon? Well, here's what I know. How many of Solomon's sons followed any of his wisdom? Yeah, 0. Okay. But you cannot tell me that Solomon spent his time with prostitutes. No, he didn't. Now, he had some wives that he might have been better off if he would have gone to women of ill repute, because his wives had constant access to him, and they turned his heart away from the Lord and to their false gods. Oh, wait, but that's still Solomon's point. If you give yourself over to the flesh and the pleasures that come with women in the flesh, it can lead you from the Lord. So, and some people, you might be listening to this and go, and it just seems like the Bible's real hard on women. You can look at it that way, but who's making the choice to open themselves up to the wiles of the women? And Tyler, I don't know your life experience, so I won't ask you to answer some of these. There are 3 things that are extremely powerful in the life of a man. One is greed. Whether it's power or wealth, the greed that can come with that, to dominate his fellow man. That's extremely powerful. The effects of alcohol. Alcohol will enslave a man super quick. And then women. And please don't tell me, but the world's changing. Okay. I don't care if it's men pretending to be women or whatever. You never notice there's still only 2 roles. And it still comes down to being enslaved by these things. Power, wealth, because power and wealth go together. Alcohol, and women. Those 3 things. See, I'm using 3. Those 3 things, right? Fastest way for a man to destroy himself. That's why Scripture's always warning. It's not that it's anti-woman. Scripture knows this. If you can corrupt the men of a society, it's over. It's over. So, stay away from houses of ill repute. It's a good step. Got anything you want to add?
No, sir.
Sure you do.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Till lunchtime.